Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Depends on your time and your location. That depend on when this program goes to your location. Please receive a warming greeting from me as one of your own. That is very, very important. So as I welcome you this evening, please endeavor to welcome one another by liking and sharing the program. It is very important if you may do so. Please, as you are joining me this wonderful evening from my location, I urge you to please like, share, so every other human being may know that Re Biafra is live and direct this wonderful day and wonderful evening, or maybe morning, afternoon, depends your time and your personal location. We are here today to let the world know that we are not stopping, that no amount of intimidation will stop us. Rather, unless we, Biafran people, decide to stop what we are doing. But if we refuse to stop, nobody will stop us. Because the truth must prevail. The truth must do what? Prevail at all times.
Selective coverage of Palestine through their editing of the Trump documentary, but yet still refuses to cover a country which we have strong historical ties to. Nigeria is a reflection of what will happen when we import Islamic fundamentalism into our country. On a micro level, we already see sectarian violence on the streets of Britain, but on a large scale in Nigeria, what we'll see is on an industrial scale, a religious persecution of the Christian faith. Now, the positive look on the Christian church is that, like Christ promises, his church will be persecuted. Christ himself was persecuted, so his kingdom will be also. So the Christian church, in witness to persecution, will encourage more people to pick up the cross, because the cross is the faculty by which we are all saved. So by bearing witness, by covering the persecution of the Nigerian Christians, not only are we ensuring the preservation of the martyrs of the Holy Orthodox churches, but also doing justice to the families which are butchered on their masses. Imagine the people who attend church here today, attending and witnessing the liturgy in many of the urban churches which are constituted here in the UK. Randomly had a jihadist thug come through the gates of the church and butcher them for simply confessing the Christian faith. We're a country which promotes the free market of ideas. However, when that very right is trampled upon by a country which we have deep ingrained relations with, we do absolutely nothing.
I'm rising today to seek an emergency debate on the genocide being carried out against Nigerian Christians, Mr. Speaker. One of the worst mass kidnappings ever reported in Nigeria occurred on Friday, where more than 300 school children were abducted from St. Mary's Catholic School after an attack by armed men. Since Boko Haram launched its insurgency in 2009, the impact on Christian communities has been devastating. Millions have been driven from their homes. Hundreds have lost their lives in targeted violence. Entire villages have been wiped out, families torn apart, children forced to abandon their faith, and communities left in ruin. Terrorist groups like Boko Haram, Fulani militias, the ISWAP continue to carry out these brutal attacks with alarming precision.
We are giving you the updates from every social media handle, what is really happening and what is about to happen. Like on this page, I always use this word, that what is coming to Britain, we check the words, because the sons and daughters of the British, UK, London are going to demand their rights that their forefathers was being given to the same Fulani Jihad in another different dimension in the UK or London. So in 2026, if you're a Biafran living in UK with information, I must tell you this, prepare for what to come. British, UK, London are going to deport many blacks. They are going to deport many migrants. They wanted to do it similarly to prove that those that's in the you understand what I mean? That they are those they are going to deport. And when they do it like that, they will target a particular races on a people. So they go back to the inner chamber and discuss how to carry out this massive deportation. They'll put it all countries in America. Moreover, from Africa. Then from the other side, any of them now must first what? Deportation. This is what is going to happen in 2026 in UK. And also the changes in their government, removing all the hierarchies that are not in the position. They are going to do all this to do what? To make sure that their sons and their daughters that are demanding for their equal rights will be handed over the chances to improve and make progress of their country. This is a pure truth of what is about to happen. You can see the youth talking, agitating. They are asking their forefathers, they are asking the government to cut ties with Nigeria that has been designated to a country of a particular concern. Hope you are following. These are the part of the things that we all need to know. And these are part of the things that need an answer at this time that we are into. Because without all these things being handled and being said out for people to be aware or vigilant of what to come, it may take you unawares. That is why you need to prepare yourself ahead of what is about to happen in UK, in London, in British generally, because those that are now Isiala has taken a lot of things away from their children. That is why they are the one today champion. They have started, their children have started to remove themselves from that bondage, from that curse, from that enclave, from that evil that their forefathers of British put them into. The only way they never remove themselves when it comes to the issue of Biafra, that they need to question their forefathers. Why do they stop Biafran people having their own freedom in their own time? These are part of the things that we need to ask and call for an answer. Now, remove this one by the side. Everything is happening right now is for good, not for worst. I hope you are following. Biafran people, our time is here. If you can be submissive and listen, then you will understand the timeline and what is about to do or to happen. So, the way things are going on right now in the world, a lot of casualties, a lot of problems are going to come more. But when you remember that you have United States of Biafra in front of you, at back of you, by your right hand side and your left hand side, then you will understand what and who you are and stand strong. When everything is going on into the world right now is an evidence of what to come. So I am sending message back to the people of UK, their daughters, their sons, to tell their fathers to remove themselves from that cost that Biafran people are going to lay or have already laid to Britain. What will happen to them? Because they are the one that handled all these killings of the indigenous people. And they are one handle the affairs of the people. So that is why they have to bear it within themselves to understand that this is what they have cost people pence. So I am not here to have a change of words or to have a change of mind, except that rather than to tell UK, London, to come back and rebuild the damage they have caused to Biafran people. And it's only one way for them to recognize United States of Biafra as a government of the people, by the people. That is what we are asking them to do for us. Then only that we will forgive them. So please, as you come, like and share the program. And as also, when you like and share, you are inviting someone else to come and join us to know we are live and we're there this evening. So let us continue on sharing aspect of this program so people may understand what we are about to do and reason why that the Biafran people is doing what we are doing. Because it is our inalienable rights to have our own freedom, to have our own country, and nobody born of human will stop us from having it. That is why our declaration is the number one authentic that take Biafran people away from Nigeria. And the people may do not understand the importance of or the value of our declaration. You don't blame them, because this way we are today, we never go through this way before. This is Real Biafra TV. We are letting the world to know that Biafra has been redeclared as the only solution to what everybody is seeing today that is happening in Nigeria. Biafra recognition under United States of Biafra is only solution. That is why we are telling you to come back and join the movement so that everyone can be saved and be alive again. In all that we are passing through, I also want you to understand that you are passing through of what is going to yield a result of that is everlasting one into your life. What is that? Only Biafra solution to all killings that are going on in the world right now. There is more things to that. The Biafran people making a declaration is avenue for us to showcase our talents, how peaceful we are, and how we can govern ourselves. That is why our declaration are more important to the Biafran people, and it's also a way of sending a notification to the world that a new country has been declared. So we will not stop to thank everybody who has been there for Biafran people. I want to tell you that you are fighting for a just cause. So let us know let us continue on the aspect of celebration of United States of Biafra 1 year anniversary that are going to yield a result that is going to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What we are doing is our rights, and we are not going to stop. Every human being in this world has rights to live and to decide what you want and how you want it. And nobody will decide it for you. What we are saying is very simple. That I don't want to be a Nigeria. I want to be a Biafran. I want to die by be a Biafran. And I want to get my vision of being a Biafran. My people. The time has gone when we panic, when we are on the side of these movements that are yielding every result to the Biafran people, for them to know that they have someone for them. Now, the Biafra we are fighting for is the same Biafra Chukwuemeka Odumegwu fought in 1967 to 1970. After that, it's only on this era that we can be able to come out and do what? And make a declaration of a new country that are seeking for international recognition. Then, despite that our president, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is being kidnapped by Nigeria and being sentenced to life imprisonment today, because of what? Self-determination that was never be a crime on these international communities that are watching us. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president of United States of Biafra, Simon Ebanjoko, the prime minister of United States of what? Biafra. There is things that we need to know. There is more things, because thinking of this movement the way we are in our own common sense or what we think we should do is not what we need this time. We all need the highest level of the international community to do what? We all know that the international community are not going to dive into the matter if there is nothing like declaration. But when the world acknowledge our declaration and goes to referendum, everything is over. Every other thing is what? Is over. That is why the Biafran people in this world understand the importance of why we are born and what we're supposed to do. Today, as you can see, the Britain, their sons and daughters are protesting, asking for their rights. The same thing we did and Biafra. And people of Biafra who are betrayers betray the movement. And they think it's going to be better for them. It's never going to be better for them. Rather, they have digged their grave. So, my people, as we are continuous sharing, please like and share the program. Invite one another to be here for them to know that we are live and we are direct this wonderful evening. Please endeavor to like and share, to invite one another to come up, please. If you are first time coming, you will see a 3 dot in front of your phone. Click on that red to open. You will see like and share there. Please endeavor to do that. We are coming gradually because we have a way we are going. You know, we are no longer in a hurry, because today, unless there is emergency call, but I pray that it didn't happen. If we see people in social media asking you, how will you guys bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out? Ask that person, how did the people of South Africa bring Nelson Mandela out? People, how do you bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out? It's about independence. Ask them, how does Bangladesh brings Rahman out? How do you bring him out? Ask him, how did Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, how did he come out from prison after confirmed 10 years? How did he come out? Ask them how Maghandi of India comes out. If you can know how they comes out, that is what we do to bring him out. I said what? That way they have come outside today becomes a hero is what we are going to do to bring him out. And you who claim a member of IPOB, child, that help one Nigeria, you who claim in this movement of fighting for Biafra, that you are doing something, why you are sabotaging? That is why I'm asking you that all of you, every organization who has claimed after the creation of USB that they are fighting, all of you are under the same template. So, as you join me, may you like and share the program. As you join, please like and share. How did all these freedom fighters come outside? And how are you in person is destroying the movement by your falling back or waiting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come south? It's another way you are killing the movement. And another way you are helping the government to continue keeping him, because once we got a vital information, you must listen to it. The people of Biafra has really gave the information, the solution that will end every impunity that is happening right now in Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ebanjoko, all will come out in a very bigger way of being in a Biafra president and a Biafra prime minister. They are all incarceration, my people. So today, when your leader is being arrested and you abandon him and his cause, then what will happen? Then you are giving the arresting authority power to do what? To sentence him because you stopped. Like when I told you that, oh, after Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was being kidnapped, they hold on till today. So they are the one, and we're going to prove it to you today through our normal way of doing our exposition with laws that bind what we are doing out. So we are going to prove to you that the stop of IPOB going to friend to bear witness against my Simon Eba is the end of you who are continuously waiting and be on the side and looking. You are the one that are not doing anything because you want Nigeria government to do what? To sentence or to buy Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But you coming outside, child, to talk trash from your mouth, you are doing yourself more harm than good. That is absolutely what you are doing yourself. Biafrans, there is a criteria of a leader who is being in captivity or who has been arrested. That is one of the most another part of it. That those you claim that they are fighting for you on the same cause are not even very close or even fighting. So, in all the things that you are seeing that is happening today in this world, there is more to that. What is more to that? More to that is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is only fighting for a new country. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is only fighting for a new country. And he has gotten that new country by the declaration of United States of Biafra on November 20th, 2024, being him is going to be used for us to achieve our official international recognition. So that is why it's very good that no amount of intimidation, no amount of propaganda, no amount of lies can stop us into what we are doing. So, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu coming outside is in my hand and you who are watching me. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu coming outside is in the hands of you and I. Then you may ask yourself, what am I doing to make sure that he is a free man? What? So, I want you to understand one thing. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for me and you, whether I like it or not. So if you come here to come and ask me, what am I doing to bring him out? I will ask you, what are you doing to bring him out? And I want us to understand one thing. We are no longer in the era where we are afraid of what we are doing. So, in these movements of restoring Biafra as a sovereignty, as a sovereign state, a lot is about to do what? Happen. What are those things that are going to happen that will trigger Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release? It's also in your hand, depending where you are, what you are doing. Except coming to my page to come and write on your own time. What are you doing? What are you watching? We must understand that freedom is being taken, it's not being given. That is why we are doing what we are doing. To let the world know that the people of Biafra has brought solution to the table. The solution they brought to the table is what you guys to look. What are those solutions? Divide Nigeria according to the tribal line, the problem stops. So everybody will govern his own people and secure their life. That is how it works. Why is that when it goes to Biafra issue becomes a crime? Is my question. Now, that we as the Biafran people has raised up to do the needful. Never you go back, never you go back, because I want us to understand clearly here that once a leader is being taken away and those are following him, those members went on the ground, all their plan is to do what? Sorry. To disencourage us. All their plan is to put fear, because Nigeria was a country that was amalgamated under by force. Nigeria was a country that in the history, they have different words, history of being a country, by force country, that they did not seek any opinion of you and your forefathers. The disintegration of Nigeria that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for is only solution of what is happening today. If there is no past, there will be no future. So that is why we must continue on the path that we have told to use it and do something. Because the way we are going right now, under United States of Biafra, is the way that people of South Africa did in time of Nelson Mandela. It's the same way that people of Bangladesh did when their leader was arrested and being sentenced to by hanging. But what happened? Did it happen? The answer is no. They stand up, continue their fight until their leader is out. So when they fall back in this mission, they really help those of one Nigeria who kidnapped him to join hand and do it, because they never want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So it is a high time that we all must understand that disintegration of Nigeria that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting with his best option is when you go back to the history of 1804 to history of 1810. What happened then? Then you will know why that this past future is hurting the present right now. And it's not going to stop by any means, by anywhere. Do you know why it's not going to stop? Because the foundation is corrupt, and the foundation is what? What we can never have. So, when you see our declaration, and now that we are moving into peaceful movements to get Biafra as a country, now we have applied legal, diplomacy, and political. These are the three criteria that gives a recognition. So we are letting the world to know that we have overmet these criteria, that we only ask them to give us what recognition, to end the sufferness of who? Of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The recognition of Biafra as a sovereign state will pull him out from the dungeon, from the prison, or from anything answerable to Nigeria anymore. So, the Biafra recognition that we are on the right track is only what is going to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa forever and ever. Any amnesty or any pardon might demoralize, or they ask him to stop, like what they have been doing already. And he says no. That I am not alive without Biafra. That with Biafra, I come back to life again. We must know that only way, EJ, I can see you living from here. Thank you for coming for our page today. One of my people. So, we want the world to know exactly that everything that is happening for Biafra to become a country in our own good. That is why when I jam those that are crying, I will open and tell them, please stop crying. Be patient and support United States of Biafra. That is only hope for every black race, for Africa. Africa dies because of the denial of Biafra in 1967 to 1970. Today, as we come back, is the same Africa that has been supporting some others to have their information. But why is it that when it's come to Biafran people, that they are not going to talk? The African Charter of Self-Determination is no longer working because it's about Biafra that they have all hated in 1967 to 1970. The movement of the Biafran people is the only source and the only savior to you who happen to be a black man. So, if you thought that we are playing, when it's happened to you, then you will understand. So, in that thing they call one Nigeria, that means a death sentence to every indigenous people is 419 is a fraud. Nobody is a Nigerian. Because if there is no oil, if there is no national resources in the southeastern region, nobody will answer one Nigeria. They go and check the history very well so you can see very well. My people, it's a hard time that we all know that moving forward should be only supporting USB and taking instruction from USB for what? For official of announcing one day that Biafra has become a country, then every other thing will be added. I want to simply understand one simple thing here, one single thing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has refused any offer from coming from this contraction, this thing they call one Nigeria, that means a death sentence to every indigenous person. The level of things that are happening, that's why I am, after one or two together, I said, let it be in our favor that everything is going to change the way that we never expected it. Now, we are coming to let you know that holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is bringing Biafra very close. Sentencing him to draw attention that Biafra must become a country, so continue. On September, before November, this program I said that Nigeria is going to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu life imprisonment and ask him to go to appeal court. And let me use this video to correct those information, those wrong information that we are getting. That appeal court scratch out Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal. The answer is no. It's not of issue of this sentence from James Omotosho, who will chose the law. No. It's about his former right that a man, a chairman or a leader or a head of what? The head of DSS is the one that they scratched out. They said, because of has been convicted, no need talking about it. Not the one about him being committed through what? James Omotosho. So that is the case that's scratched out, because this social media of Nigeria was meant to lie to the indigenous people. That is what the social media of Nigeria represents at all time. It never represents something good at all. Oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal court has struck his case out. They will not tell you the case that's described, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has over 5 cases that is in court. If you listen to Barrister Maxwell, you may understand it. So not only one. So, my people, we must stand strong at this time that we are into. For you to know that our freedom is sacrosanct and our recognition is very important, is unstoppable. Do not panic. Be strong, because the days of this evil entity called Nigeria, that means a death sentence to indigenous people, are very numbered. Please, as you join me, if you please like and share this program, please. Like and share. So now we are going to go into exactly what brings us here. We make our preamble for people to join us. There is something that brings us here, which you will see on our caption, our headline. Part 2, exposition on Geneva Convention, on Geneva Convention of 1949, Article 18 in brackets. How IPOB Ogenkere, fallback aka AI, help Nigeria to sentence Obatobie and sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because we are only here to do something in a different way of bringing you those deep information that the world do know that we are not ready to research. That we are not what? Ready to research. Shai, EJ, thank you so much. I appreciate all your efforts. May Elohim bless you. May Elohim keep you alive and protect you. May all you put your hand be blessed and be nourished. You will never lack. You will be alive. We will receive our recognition, and the world will know that the Biafran people are real. Thank you so much. I appreciate. So, why we are here is to prove to you or to the world that we understand that game they are playing for us. The reason why the Geneva Convention is important to us right now is one of the most important things that I want you to know. How IPOB organization, you will see that's abbreviation in brackets. How IPOB organization and the fallback bridge, CRC, and all this Pakistan group. Remember that CRC is what? CRC, aka AI. How they help Nigeria government and Finland to sentence Obatobie and the what? Mazi Nnamdi Okukano. When a leader who is fighting for a freedom of a new country is being arrested, and his people or those he left outside stop the movement by going underground or by falling back or by stopping the military or the security apparatus to stop work and ask them to cease fire. Under this, because of when it comes to this Geneva Convention, it focused on the issue of a new country's security and the criteria to go if their leader was arrested, or if the leader was arrested before the declaration of the new country that lacks international recognition, what they should do and what they should not do. That if they do those ones, they are giving enemy opportunity to sentence their leader into life imprisonment or death sentence. These are the areas that we want you to pay attention as we are going to do. Let me prove to you with this Geneva Convention how Ogenkere, how China Samoru, Chike Doziem, in fact, that's organization called IPOB, not the one simply mean the indigenous people, which is you and I. That particular one that Mazin Khan was registered, for you to see how they use what Mazin Nnamdi Kanu registered by himself to today to help Nigeria, to put him on, to sentence him on this particular judgment that they passed on him. How they help him to do that. When you are leader, like, let me give you an example first before we go in. When Nelson Mandela was arrested by South African government, the people he left outside or his second in command, do they stop or do they continue on the pressure that makes him to get released? Do they fall back? Are they underground? People of South Africa, the answer is no. That is why I will tell you on this platform, ask questions, just ask, what did the people that Nelson Mandela left outside did when he was arrested? Just type it on the Google. You don't need to go to search for the Geneva Convention. Just type it there. Then also type, when Magahandi of India was taken out from his people, what was the people that followed him believe in the ideology? What is their work? Also type, what did the people of Bangladesh did when Rahman was taken away from them in 1971, that leads in 1972 for them to have Bangladesh as a country, and also a leader, Rahman, they give death sentence was alive and become the first ever of what? Of Bangladesh. These are why we are here, for you to know how IPOB organization helped Nigeria to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on life imprisonment. These people that I mentioned right now, if you check their history, their people continue to mount a very big pressure on the international global community that draws attention, that also makes South Africa to realize that they are doing the wrong thing. I want to give you one example that I gave you before here. That is why Biafrans have to thank Sowore. That is why Biafrans have to thank Sowore. If not for that Sowore protest, Nigeria has concluded to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by hanging openly. Now, the political pressure happened to do his job. They said, under the international law of political pressure, they said, when people that are not from the same tribe or the same ideology believe and or also protest on a leader who is fighting for a new country, that the international political pressure on the international global community we put eyes to understand that that leader is the one on the right track. If not for that political pressure coming from Sowore, Nigeria has concluded to hang Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That was their initial plan. Then after that protest, they now go back and say, no, this guy is too popular. Oh. People like him. Oh. If we do that, everything about us will collapse once. Okay, let us give him life imprisonment. Let me tell you this. If you're a Biafran, anybody is telling you to calm down, do not. That person is your enemy. The person will tell you, calm down. Then will tell you, he is a deceiver. He's a betrayer. He's a saboteur. Because Iganiru Bondo Mela Chiazo Buon. I am not blackmailing anybody. I am not. But I'm giving, you will hear it from this, because our problem that we don't research. We only believe on that thing that we know by ourselves. From this Geneva Convention, yes, the hungry criminals that are not worth of freedom fighting, they are all prize able. Biafra land will swallow them all. MNK and PM must be free. The zoo completely gone. Exactly. Exactly. They have all gone. So I want to prove to that person who was in there, I am not blackmailing them, but I am giving you the authentic and bitter truth. On this platform, I give people bitter truth, because truth is always bitter. That is what I always do here every day. That is what I do, I do here every day. To let the world know what we are passing through. Yes, the enemies of Biafrans are Igbo people. I am not, there is no two ways about that. That is why I am making this expedition today. Because number one, those that make available of kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a member of IPOB from Imo State. A member of IPOB is the one who called Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out to come address the meeting they are having in Kenya. before he was kidnapped. So sometimes Jesus Christ, is it not people that that among his followers was the one who submitted him in the hands of the Pharisees? Is it not true? So that is what happened to us also. A member of IPOB, a coordinator in Kenya, was the one who called Mazen Kanu to come out and address them in their meeting. What happened next? He was kidnapped. It was a plan with all of them, with China Sanwo-Olu and all that are included. So that is why the program is not about blackmailing, but it's about to put the truth, the culpability where it's supposed to be put on. That is what I'm doing here today. And there is a law proving what they did. And what it simply means. There is a very law that proves that what these people did to our president, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and what they did to PM Simon Ekpa. Because anything IPOB organization is all about sabotage. It's all about betrayal. It's all about enemy of the freedom of the people. That is who they are. Do you think we're going to keep silent? The answer is no. A time has come for you to know exactly what happened to our president, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and those that are responsible. Even Uchechi, wife of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, was among those that betrayed the husband because he wanted him to stop the issue of Biafra. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was supported by his own people, despite few of individuals, even in your family. Happy, you have those that hated you in your family hold. That is how it happens. So it's not 100%. It's 50 or 70, 30. It's also 60 or 40. It's also 50-50. If Christ can be sabotaged, what of ordinary mere common man? If a Christ who is a savior was being sabotaged, the same way Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who is the savior of every black race in the world, is being sabotaged by his own people, the IPOB organization. So let us go into this Geneva Convention and find out how IPOB organization helped Nigeria, 1, to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, 2, to put him where Nigeria government can be able to sentence him to life imprisonment. The odd job of IPOB. That is what I want to bring out to you today. So you will see how they achieve all this. Listen to this. That is how we do it. The program starts from now. Listen.
Yes, the simultaneous cessation of activities by both the political organization and its armed wing provides the maximum possible legal leverage to the arresting country to sentence the leader severely, such as to life imprisonment.
Listen. The cessation of activity, both the political organization and its arm wing, IPOB as a political organization, and the ESM arm wing is area we are going now. So for you to see how they help to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and how they make Nigeria, how they help Nigeria to sentence him today. Yes, the zoo is treating them like animal. Nobody's doubting that. That is a better word for them. Now, both the political organization, because agitation without declaration of a new country is a mere political movement under international law. Arm wing providing the maximum possible legal leverage to the arresting country to sentence the leader, such as to life imprisonment. Look at what I'm reading, okay? Look at, so this is what I'm reading. I am reading a document of Geneva Convention, 1949, Article 18. Is where I base on what I say. I will tell you from where I got what I'm giving to you. So that is why I don't give you misinformation. What do they mean here? Simultaneously cessation of activities by both the political organization and its arm wing provide maximum possible legal leverage to the arresting country to sentence the leader, such as to life imprisonment. As we are going, you will understand this particular article first. How IPOB and the stopping of ESN to cease fire help Nigeria to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And they said here, there is several ways that the arm wing and political organization can help Nigeria that arrested Mazi Nnamdi, that kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to sentence him to life imprisonment. You must pay attention, because this is where the case it is. If a member of IPOB did not give information of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out, or did not call him to come out from his hotel room for a meeting, nobody will kidnap him. Then if they are going by the hotel, their tent will fail. I want to, in fact, it's time to search to bring out blames and the evil that IPOB organization has committed on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and every Biafrans today. That this time has come for that. Now, do you know that organization of a political organization called IPOB asking ESN as arm wing or as security wing to stop work, to cease fire, and ask them to go and work for one Nigeria? Then under this Geneva Convention law, it says that those people that ask the military or the security to stop work has helped the arresting or kidnapping country called Nigeria to sentence their leader for life imprisonment or by hanging. This is what IPOB did. Because number one, if you did not leave your door open for ants to come inside, or for a criminal to come inside, if door is being locked and a criminal is hitting on the door, you will raise the alarm. Why did the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu raise the alarm? Or the alarm was not enough to protect him in Kenya because he was kidnapped outside. And those one Nigerians and those IPOB coordinator who was masterminded this kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was shouting, Al-Bab, Al-Bab, that name of the highest terrorist or Boko Haram member. That is why people run away and they take him and bring him back to Nigeria till today. So, the IPOB organization are the one in the first place who sentenced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment. One, by leaking his information out under IPOB. Number one. Number two, by stopping ESM. In fact, they dissolved ESN and handed them over to Nigeria and collected their money. The same way that China Sanwo-Olu told us that Nigeria or Southeast governors are the one going to, they are going to pay every member of ESN, which I was involved, and that is why I ran away and said no, that is not the plan. There is one guy they killed who refused to join them in Ihiala, you may remember. So because he refused to accept that offer to cease fire, to come and join them. So the eastern governors will be paying them money, and they will be working for them. Let me give you evidence of that. Do you know that it's all members of ESN, those who agree under China Sanwo and Chike Doziem in terms of IPOB, was the one that formed in Anambra Dead Man Squad. A part of them are into a Bobago. It is pure truth because we experienced all these things before we run away from Nigeria. Are you following? On this movement, all that is happening on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was considered by who? IPOB organization. Who never wants freedom, who never want Biafra to be a country. These are those that masterminded what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu first, before Nigeria. They are the one that handed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu over to Nigeria. The way Judas handed Christ over to people that killed Jesus Christ. That is exactly what happened here. That is the rule that this man from Imo State, from Umbise precisely, that is what they did. So the blame goes to them that are IPOB organization oath takers. The IPOB organization, political organization oath takers are the one that handed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu over to Nigeria government. This is pure truth, is what I'm telling you. Because if that particular coordinator in Kenya did not call Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out, or him and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not show that for a meeting, that even though some members of IPOB in Kenya never knew there is a meeting until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being kidnapped. If they did not show that meeting and he caused Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come to the location, and the location he gave was exactly where they kidnapped him. So who do you put the blame to? Is it me that are not IPOB organization oath taker? Or those that are fighting with their hearts that they want freedom? They are the one that brought this calamity, this evil. They are the one that never wants Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president of United States of Biafra, alive. They are the one. So they are the one that help one Nigeria to accomplish their mission. IPOB masterminded the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that leads towards life imprisonment today. Not even only that one alone. Also, by stopping the ESM, dissolving ESM, and ask them to go and join Eastern governors for them to be well paid and for them to be rich. That is the confusion they brought. In one day in Osso, they massacred over 500 and take 1,000 away. All of them never come back today. Go and check. This is what happened when I was there, when I was on ground at the kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They killed. They arrested our people in a large number. So that is what gives them power. That is what gives Nigerian government power to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The only savior of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is all this says is Simon Ebanjoko. The only savior of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to up to this year is the action of Simon Ebanjoko, the Prime Minister of United States of Biafra. Please, as you join me, like and share the program. If it is your first time, you will see a 3 dot in front of you. Click on that 3 dot, it will open. You will see like and share. Then subscribe. Here, with this work was being divided. Mazi Humble Lion is doing her own. My brother Kai report is on the point of her own. Prokelena, Ada Simon, Ezekuna son, Rose, and many of them are doing. Everybody has the way he is bringing his own message to the African people. So I bring my own always from these international constitutions and what they mean in action or what is happening to the African people right now. That is how I do my own. So after all this that they have done, they still have mouths. They close down all the offices, stop IPOB meeting, because they know that none of them are genuine. Remember that China Sanwo opened his stinking mouth and said on the Biafra that Nigeria could have buyed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu highest 3 years, everything will be what? Over. Highest 3 months, people will stop it at home and go out because they believe that without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, nobody will bring Biafra again. The same way what happened to Simon, our PM, happened to him. And the so-called those who are with us believe that if not for Simon, Biafra will never come. And people did not believe that so Ojukwu fought for freedom, it did not come. That is also how people believe today that because of Ojukwu did not get Biafra, that nobody will get it again. It's a pure lie because it's ideology that is moving every day. It's a pregnant that cannot stop delivering. That the lady must deliver in the due time. Let's continue.
This combined action is interpreted by the arresting country as the end of the armed threat and the collapse of the independence movement, which is the critical factor in stripping the leader of international legal protections.
Are you hearing something here? The combination action interpreted by the arresting country as the end of the armed threats and the collapse of the independence movement. Remember, Nigeria, all their plan that arresting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for kidnapping him will collapse. The agreement is to collapse the movement. That is why they collapse ESN. They collapse all the movements on their own. They never knew that Shku Biama, who want to be able to become a country, has already planned Simon Ekpa to take over the movement. What happened? And Simon did a wonderful job that keep us or that put us where we are today, of making a declaration of United State of Biafra on November 29, 2024. Must continue. Now listen to this. Arresting country as the end of the armed threats under the collapse of the independence movement, which is the critical factor in stripping the leader of international legal protection. Do you see why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu all these years, except now that Biafra has been declared, that no fully international legal or international position that will protect him, because those he left behind are the one who used their hand to stop the movement and the what chase. In fact, they chased ESN away. They stopped ESN, give them all of them over to people of Nigeria, like the Southeast governors, to be paying them money. This is what really happened. So on that, when those the arresting country like Nigeria, look at what the China Sanwo and all of them achieved. That is why today Nigeria is angry on China Sanwo, because they could not be able to stop the move, collapse the movement. They divided attention, give it to Ogenkere. And what happened? Ogenkere could not be able to stop it. They are now divided attention to another, to see Arisima Maduabo. And that one was not enough. They are still looking for more. But that is why we are here, to debunk all these lies and let the world know what exactly we are passing through. So the IPOB stopping the movement and also discharging ESN as armed wings that are threatening Nigeria. Nigeria was afraid what this ESN could have done when Mazi was being kidnapped. They are what? Waiting to see the action of the Biafran people and the armed wing that Mazen Kanu keep down. That is why he told us that if anything happened to him anywhere, that we should burn down those countries. What happened? They say, calm down, relax. We are getting. Where does this calm down lead us today? To sentence Mazen Kanu on life imprisonment. We must be wise and stand up for the justice for Mazen Kanu.
How the double cessation helps the arresting country. The decision for both the political and military wings to halt operations helps the arresting country secure a harsh sentence in two key ways.
Listen. The decision for both the political and the military wings to halt operation help the arresting country to secure a harsh sentence in two key ways. Are you listening? This is international movement. This is international law of how you know that people has been betrayed and they have stopped. They want to stop the movement. That they want to do what? That they want to stop the movement. How? They told you here. Decision of both the political and the military wings to stop the movement. To do what? To stop the movement is a way that the arresting country will pass a harsh sentence on the leader in two key ways. Are you following? In two key ways. There is two ways that all we are reading out here help what? Nigeria to sentence Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Listen.
1. Removing the armed conflict shield.
1. Removing the armed conflict. Removing ESN from duty to protect the land and talk about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and do anything possible. These are number 1 criteria. To apply, there must be an ongoing non-international armed conflict. When the Ipob organization, if they're really fighting for Biafra, when Mazen Kanu was being kidnapped, the first thing they would have to do is to find application or a letter to UN. Said, there is no armed conflict. We want you to come. Why are you coming? To put justice on the case of our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. But they refuse because they all are being paid over excess to stop what the movement. And by stopping it, they are giving Nigeria more power to put a harsh sentence on our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So IPOB, One Nigeria, IPO organization are the one who masterminded and who helped Nigeria to sentence Mazen Nnamdi Kanu today. Listen to this as we continue.
IHL. For the Geneva Conventions, IHL, to apply, there must be an ongoing non-international armed conflict, NIAC. Political wing stops. The lack of a functioning political structure, no declaration of statehood, no diplomatic outreach, allows the arresting country to classify the entire situation as a domestic law enforcement matter concerning a collapsed criminal or terrorist conspiracy, not a
I hope you are following. IHL. For the Geneva Convention, IHL, to apply, there must be ongoing non-international armed conflict, political wing support. Political wing what? Stop. The lack of the functioning political structure. When Mazen Kanu was being kidnapped, any structure from IPOB, is it working? The arm wing was what? Collapse. The meeting was what? Collapse. Is it not now that they start moving a little bit? That is how you know those who are helping One Nigeria under this Geneva Convention to sentence Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Remember, I repeat it again. For the Geneva Convention, IHL, to apply, there must be an ongoing non-international armed conflict, NIAC. Political wing support. For those who are talking about the politician, it's a One Nigeria. Everything about movement of a new country is all about politics. It is all about what? Politics. Look at it here from Geneva Convention. How IPOB helped Nigeria sentence Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. including the fallback people. So we must continue. The lack of functioning political structure. They call it structure, political structure, because of what? Agitation, a long time agitation. You had it here. Without declaration or diplomatic movement, is just a mere political structure. When Mazi Kanu is being kidnapped, every structure of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was collapsed. They only believe in chain in command and control, doing nothing. Let's continue. I want to give you something. Non-declaration of stakehold. Non-declaration of stakehold. Obato Obie was being served in Finland because of what? The declaration of stakehold of United States of Biafra sovereignty as a new entity that emerged out from that exits from Nigeria on November 20, 2024. Let me repeat it again for you. For those, because they did not understand the meaning of the declaration of a stakehold. They never understand it at all, at all. They do not understand the meaning of the stakehold. The declaration that Biafran people, that Ngozi Orebeze stood up to save the life of Mazi Simon Ekpa and also Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today. There is things that we all must understand that's going to help us into this movement that we are into. To call a spade, to face reality the way it is, despite how bitter it is. I am not blackmailing, I am not portioning blames, but I am telling you what transpired. The bitter truth that nobody wants to tell you until you research and find it out. Now, with what you are hearing here, is it not all that IPOB did when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was being kidnapped? Tell me, maybe I stand to be corrected. Maybe I stand to be corrected if the words you are hearing here is not what IPOB did. And they told us that if they tell us here that if they continue doing like that, they are giving a arresting country power to give a harsh sentence on the leader if they abandon the movement. My people, let's continue. No declaration of stakehold, no diplomatic outreach allows the arresting country to classify the entrance situation as a document law enforcement matter concerning collapsing criminal or terrorist or not a political conflict. Now, because of there is IPOB that's never know road to the freedom, that will never give us Biafra, never know that when your leader is being kidnapped, that the next thing is to do what? To make a declaration. You see this declaration, our declaration that happened on November 2024 was the key figure that serves Mazi Simon Ekpa to be in Finland. If there is no declaration, and if there is not that political protest on Finland on the eve of a declaration, by now, Obato Obie could have been sentenced by hanging. Go and check that is why I'm bringing you this. So use this to compare. Compare what I am doing now to both two of them. You could have seen the heart. If we went to Finland and we don't make a declaration, because Nigeria has studied that if there is no declaration, that Finland will give them Mazi Simon. But remember that Musa was everywhere shouting how they will bring Mazi Simon back to Nigeria. Is it not true? Have you asked yourself what stopped them from bringing Mazi Simon back to Nigeria? The declaration is a child of necessity that stops everything. Our declaration documents and that protest that happened in the eve of this our declaration was two things that serves Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You had it here. They said the lack of functioning political structure, no declaration of a new country, no diplomatic outreach allows the arresting country, Nigeria, that kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to classify the entire situation as domestic law enforcement matter concerning a collapse. That now the case will now turn to Mazen Simon, but they will now call him that he's a criminal or terrorist or a political conflict. It's no longer a political conflict because all the structures has been what? Collapsed. Now that this structure has been collapsed, what will happen? They will pass a harsh sentence on the leader. Tell me. I'm asking a question, please. Is it not what IPOB did? My people. Is it not the rule IPOB play is what this Geneva Convention of 1949, Article 18 in brackets, is bringing out to us today? I want you also to know that everything that we are passing through in this movement, and if IPOB organization or go 247 or those who was in social services all these years can be able to be present such a thing, it will bring a correction instead of we coming to discuss what we want and how we feel and how we think about it, which is not the way it is. So we must continue. We must do what? Continue. Military wing support, stop. Military wing, stop. They asked ESM to stop. Let us see that area.
Political conflict. Military wing stops. The immediate end of fighting confirms that the hostilities have ceased. This is the strongest evidence the arresting country needs to argue that the Geneva Conventions are no longer applicable. Without IHL protection, the leader is definitively denied prisoner of war, POW status. The outcome.
Listen. Military wing support, like China want to give order. With Benjamin Madubug, they give order to military wing to stop. What happened? The immediate end of fights confirmed that an historical has caused. This is the strongest evidence the arresting country needs to argue that the Geneva Convention are no longer apply or applicable. Without IHL protection, the leader is identifiably denied prisoner of war status. Do you see why the sentence Mazen and the can? One, I told you here, China Sanworu asking what? ESN to stop, to cease fire. The same way Genkere ask Biafra Liberation Army to cease fire. Now, bring your mind close. Let us be reporting our mind in Mazen and Simon and what Genkere did and what IPOB did. They did the same job. They know themselves. They are all know themselves. They work for each other. That is why when they stop this, they stop the military wing. The military wing of Mazen Kano is what? ESN. Is it not true? They asked, they stop ESN by asking us to go and work for who? In Anambra, ask us to work for Soludo. That they are the one to pay. You heard it from Tina Sanworu. Am I giving a wrong information? The answer is no. I'm never given any wrong information. Rather, I am bringing the bitter truth that is going to pepper you. But that is the pure truth where you're supposed to stand. So let us go. Now, this is the strongest evidence the arresting country need to argue that the Geneva Convention are no longer applicable. The international law is no longer applicable because of what? If there is ESN, if there is IPOB doing everything, mounting pressure, forming a government, forming a new country, all these things could be what? Is when the right of Mazen Kano under IHL, this Geneva Convention are being protected. But once all these things are not being done, the interest is not protected anywhere at all. So they will not fly because it simply means an internal affair of Nigeria with Mazen Kano. That is why Finland know that Biafra was declared and they can never send Mazen Kano back to Nigeria because it's going to be a case between Biafra and Finland. And that one could be very easy for us to handle. Are you following? So they deny Mazen Kano what? The leader is identified, denied prisoner of war, POW status. My people. There is things that needed an action to always to at all time. That is the action you see United States of Biafra being taken by now. That is the action. Let us continue.
The leader loses combatant immunity, meaning they can be fully prosecuted under domestic criminal laws for the acts of violence, treason, sedition, terrorism, committed while leading the organization, which carry the harshest penalties. 2.
Do you get something from here? The outcome. Now that the IPOB structure has been dissolved, now they stop ESN. Now that they stop ESN as the arm wing, now Ogenkere stop Biafra Liberation Army in the first place. In the beginning of this, we are reading criteria of giving Nigeria power on a high sentence on Mazen Nandekan, on a high sentence of Finland also. That's what happened. Now they are giving you. They say the outcome of all this that we are reading from number 1 to now, they want to summarize this number 1, so you will understand under the international law there is center of do's and don'ts that will give them the right to bring international law. That is why the lawyer of IPOB comes in, the chase him. What is Bruce Fenn? Because the leverage of where IPOB put Mazen and the Kano deny him that POW status, the international law, to come into the matter. That is what's really going on here, so that you may understand it. Now, the leader loses combatant immunity, meaning they can be fully prosecuted under domestic criminal law. Under domestic what? Criminal laws for the act of violation of treason, sedition, terrorism. Is it not this is what they used to say for Mazen and Kano? Now, do you see those that give Nigeria power to do that? Is IPOB organization that betrayed him and stop what they are doing, and how do you know Mazen and Kano? So they lose is by who? This death sentence, this life sentence of Mazen and Kano was by who? IPOB is the one that gives Nigeria power to do that. They are the one committing while leading the organization, which carries the harsh penalty. Now, this is outcome when a leader of a group was arrested or kidnapped, and the people fall back. They stop the movement. When a leader of a group is being captured, instead of those that with him to moving on, like what people of South Africa did in the time of Nelson Mandela, what people of Bengali did in 1971 in the name of Rahman, what Maghandi, people of India did time of their own Maghandi, and what Jomo Kenyatta did. All these people are people that fight for free countries. They pass through something, and there is something that the people they kept outside did. None of them fall back. None of them is on the ground. But they keep putting action upon action, both military, both protest, both political pressure, both diplomatic and declaration of a new state. Did IPOB achieve any one of these? Tell me, I want to know. On the comment section. My people ask question. Did the IPOB maintain any of these criteria to serve Mazen and Kano for the fully wrought of or fully law of the international global community to serve Mazen and Kano? Are you following? What's happened? No comment is coming. Don't know whether they have seized the comment again. Want to check one thing, please bear with me. So the IPOB won Nigeria and their evil atrocity. So we are not going to ignore these things. It's not out of the ignorance It is out of that they never want Biafra to become a country. Hood boy. It's not out of ignorance, it's because of they know that Biafra become a country. We stop China Sanworu building hotel he built in Asaba inside Port Harcourt also. That is why they did what they did to Mazen Kano. Then, on this law of the international law and Geneva Convention, is it not clearly to you that IPOB are the one that give Nigeria power to sentence Mazen Kano on life imprisonment? Chidubem, you're welcome. Are you not seeing it clearly today from this Geneva Convention? It is evidence, it is everywhere right now. Name the PT again, or from the beginning. You may understand it. When they stop the military to when the military stop their work, number one, when all the organizations that are under IPOB is no longer functionable, when none of them is representing Mazen Kano, when there's no every week day in day out protest, when there is no political pressure anywhere, they have given Nigeria power. Despite that they are the one, a member of the IPOB organization was the one who called Mazen Kano to come outside, and he was being handed over to Nigeria through an IPOB organization. True or false? Through IPOB organization, Mazen Kano was being kidnapped. A man, IK from where? From Umbise, is the one China Sanworu and all of them use. That wasn't enough. They come back. They dissolve ESN. They stop the arm wing that Nigeria was afraid of. I hope you remember this clearly. They betrayed Mazen Kano. They betrayed Biafran people in the name of IPOB organization. They betrayed. The outcome, the leader lose combatants immunity. Combatants immunity. Meaning they can be fully prosecuted under domestic criminal law of Nigeria. That is why today, Nigeria can be able to use their own law to do what? To sentence Mazen Kano. Listen, the step we are going to take as we continue this program, you will hear the step. As you come, please like and share the program. Subscribe on the YouTube page so you will hear the way forward. Now, let me just quickly go back, give you 3 words of the way forward so you can be able to know the standard. The lack of functioning political structure, no declaration of a new country, no diplomatic outreach allows Nigeria to put a harsh sentence on Mazen Kano. This is an international law, Geneva Convention, I quote, 1949, Article 18 in brackets. Go and type and read. So you know that I am giving you the things that makes Nigeria, that IPOB organization did on Mazen Kano today. Stopping ESM is one of it, is number one of it. They never make a declaration, and listen to this, under this international law, a long-time agitation without a declaration of a new country is a mere political movement. So, Ogenkere, who betrayed Mazen Kano also, was a former member of IPOB. He learned his job or betrayed Simon Ekpa from members of IPOB organization. From China Sanworu them. From Imam Maduabo. Imam Maduabo and the Abanyim was very close friend. They work hand in hand. And that is somebody Ogenkere is very close to. Then the question is, why do they stop ESN? Because ESN becomes a threat to Nigeria, and if ESN continue battling Nigeria, it will come to what? To ceasefire from the international global community. And because of there is no ESM, rather they are busy shooting cow inside the bush. Honestly, these laws of international community are opening our eyes so much. It's opening my eyes. I don't know whether if it's opening your own eyes. The effort has been put already. I'm not telling you, I am telling you for you to know, so we can correct those mistakes. Because the future lies in the past. As of now, that our DPS is moving the mountain to the effort to become a solution to this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Are you supporting her? Are you criticizing her? The only way of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu right now to gain his right back, despite going to appeal court, is through what? Is by our declaration of the United States of Biafra as a country, because they said that lack of IPOB making a declaration of a new country is also what gives Nigeria right. Is when you make a declaration, then your lobbyists and your congressmen will go into diplomatic of your leader to be released. The effort is all about supporting United States of Biafra declaration, so we can be able to get our recognition. Then we free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like every other countries, like what happened to Bangladesh, what happened to India, what happened to South Africa, what happened to Kenya, and what happened every other places in the world. Go and check history. The future lies in the past. The past is there to create those. So our government of the United States of Biafra are here, are controlling, are taking measure of this past mistake that leads to today that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was being sentenced to life imprisonment. The declaration changes his status that non-declaration of IPOB or could not be able to achieve, that puts him on the lowest level of a common criminal, to use Nigeria law to judge him. That is why James Omotochuk will tell you that they use Nigeria law, that Nigeria law supersedes international law. Could you imagine that? Because of all this, that's when I started here, I lay out to you. That is why the leader loses combatant immunity. The combatant immunity is what? IHL. Human rights laws that's supposed to protect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because of there is no declaration of a state proving or to support what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is telling you, that it's my right to agitate for Biafra. A long time agitation is a male political party, not a country. A name IPOB is not name of a country. Rather, it's a name of what? Organization. A name, Bridge, is as an organization, not United States of Biafra as a country. The leverage of the status of them has been changed because of what? The declaration of Biafra. Now that we are seeking for what? International recognition, that we send Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out, and also the declaration changes his status for Biafra. That is why I told you that on international they said that we have to be using that word, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president of United States of Biafra. Simon Ekpa, the prime minister of United States of Biafra. These two words, these two names draw pity and draw political pressure in the eyes of the international community. It draws also pity. Are you following? Let's continue. Meaning, they can be fully prosecuted, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, under domestic criminal law for the act of violence. Remember, incitement. They use it to judge him, sentence him. Is it not true? Terrorist is there. Sedition is there. Terrorism is there. This is what, because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lack the support from the international global community, because of IPOB playing everything down. Number 2.
Eliminating all political and military leverage.
Eliminating all political and military leverage. That is what they did to ESN. Child, they buy ESN. They buy men. On a day on all when the Nigerian Nigeria task force with Aslok Bokom saying over 2,000 men was on ground. They are about to take action. China Sanworu, through Benjamin Madu brings them come and said ceasefire. That ESN should not fire Nigeria Joint Task Force military. You know what it means? So, what happened? Nigeria went open fire on these men. Over 1,000 was packed out. When you hear as Sared Okobo told you that they litters the body of the people of the and also that they litter the body of those boys inside rivers. Do you think he's playing? It's what happened. So after they have eliminated this opportunity, Nigeria fully has their right until Simon. If not for Simon, Mazen Kanu could have been sentenced over 2 years, 3 years ago. The action of Mazen was putting Nigeria on a hostage till today, and is going to do more to put them on that hostage. Are you following? Let's continue. No military threats. No military threats. The only military threat is time of Simon Ebanjoko, and that is what Bato be that he run fast to change the name from ESN to what? To Biafra Liberation Army. What are you hearing here? Military. To become Biafra military. To do what? To change the status of Mazen Nandekano. For him not to be judged with Nigeria domestic law. The armed conflict that's happening then is an opportunity for the international community to talk, to know why this is happening. For them to know why the problem is coming. But what happened? They asked China Sanworu, Benjamin Madu asked ESN then to cease fire. Whenever Tobia is in charge, you know what happened. Let's continue.
No military threat. The stopping of the army wing removes any immediate military pressure or the threat of retaliation, making the leader less of a liability and more of a guaranteed captive.
Do you hear something here? The stop of the ESM as arm wing under Mazen Kanu, that China Sanworu, Benjamin Madubugu asked them to stop work. Arm wing, remove any immediate military pressure or threat of what? Of threat of Nigeria to leave Mazen Kanu. Now what happened? Making the leader lesser of ability and the more of granted captive. Now today, Mazen Kanu in Sokoto. Mazen Kanu was in DSS dungeon. From that suffering of DSS dungeon, so sending him to Kuje where he can be able to relax, they send him to Sokoto. But anywhere he goes, the lights, the oil from Chukwuka must continue to follow him. Anywhere he goes. Let us continue. Do you see why IPOB organization, not indigenous people? The IPOB registered organization by Mazen Kanu was the one that masterminded his kidnapped, was also the one that helped Nigeria to sentence him for life imprisonment. Now, with all this, are you following with me? Do you now understand it? Why I'm bringing this out for you to know? Because the bias now, onya amare ebe mmiri no bidi mu ya amaha amagahama ebe organ we kwose mu ya. If you never know where rain start beating you, you will never know where the rain stop beating you. So you know that we know and all these mistakes that happened. Let's continue.
No negotiation incentive. The halting of the political wing removes any immediate reason for the arresting country to negotiate a release or amnesty. Why trade the leader when their release is not required to end the conflict?
Are you hearing something? No negotiation from IPO. What are you going to negotiate when you did not make a declaration of a new country? There's no negotiation. That is why the political solution is not working, because the political solution only works when agitation has turned into a new country that's made a declaration. Are you following? When agitation has come to the leverage of declaration of a new country, then there will be a political negotiation. It's now that Biafra has been redeclared under the name United States of Biafra, which is USB, that is led by Gozo Rabeze, is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has even right for negotiation. Because now he will negotiate that I am no longer in Nigeria. I want my flag. I want my country. For Nigeria to recognize us. That is all I need. And they call it what? Negotiation. That is why no negotiations, all this while. That is why all the things that are doing political pressure, political this one solution is not working. It's only now it's gonna work, because how does it work? We are going to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to negotiate from Nigeria that Biafra has become a country. The way Bangladesh use Rahman negotiate from the hands of Pakistan that Bangladesh is a country, and it happens like that. Let's continue. While trading the leader when the release is not required to the end of the conflict. If there was a conflict, the international community will come and grant amnesty. Not Nigeria. The international community will come and grant amnesty and ask why people are looking for amnesty everywhere. That is one of the most important things that we all must start thinking and asking the questions, so we may find an answer towards that. Please, have you liked the program? The like is on the right hand side. This is where I'm pointing my top of your phone. You will see a 3 dots. Click on that 3 dots. Please like and share. We have more like today more than ever. We have never done this program 1 hour, this is 2 hours. We have only 25 likes by now. It's supposed to be 50 something. You can't jump into a program asking me the goal of this channel unless you pay attention. The goal is to support United States of Biafra to get recognition to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. That is the goal. Let's continue, my people.
The result, the leader is purely a political symbol of defeat. The arresting country is empowered to proceed with a show trial and maximum sentence, life imprisonment, as a domestic victory and a powerful deterrent against future dissent. In essence,
I hope it is very clear to you here. The results, after collapsing ESN, after stopping every political every structure, after stopping meeting, after using the Biafra to announce rubbish to trade Biafran people, what happened? They are now giving the result of all this that have been done in the past. Look at the result. The result. The leader is purely a political symbol of what? Defeat. The leader is purely a political symbol of what? Defeat. The arresting country is empowered to prosecute with a short trial and the maximum sentence, life imprisonment. Do you see where Nigeria draw power of life imprisonment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Because of the activities of what? IPOB. Not activities of Mazi Simon Ekpa. Because his activity is what? Maintaining this pressure they want from IPOB organization. It's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Simon Ekpa that is the one that leads to a group that understand it, that make a declaration of United States of Biafra as a sovereign state. Is it not true? Are you following? Let's continue. Now, as a domestic victory and a powerful distress against future distance, Nigeria has, because of all the atrocity that this IPOB has committed, Nigeria decided to do what? To sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu life imprisonment. The cause is from the IPOB organization. In essence, the combined action of both wing stopping, the combination of both IPOB wings support, they stop their support. How? Handing the arresting country the legal justification, no IHL, and no political freedom, no threats, no impose the severance possible sentence. Do you understand something? Now, in essence, in this commission of the acting of stopping protests, number one, no acts at all. Number two, stopping Biafran ESN work and many other things that follows in every order or in all these things that you had here today. Why is it important? For you to know the mistake or those who masterminded the kidnapping of Mazaka from Kenya to Nigeria, and those who are going to do what? Claiming that they are fighting for freedom. Why they are the one destroying the movement of the people. In this IHL, because of this stopping of armed conflict, armed wing, no protest, no structure giving order, no address of union, and nothing like proving. So they give Nigeria, the arresting country, the legal right. There will be no international community law to protect Simon Kano, like self-determination. That is IHL is included there. So I want us to know that everything that's right now, that we are not going to do the same mistake. We are not going to do the same mistake of IPOB organization. That is why we are moving forward. That is why we make a declaration. That is why we are putting every position we are supposed to belong. Because we are what? We have suffered enough. And Mazda has suffered enough. That is why if I see look like still they do me like if I just close my eyes, lay missed recognition, so can be able to be out, become a president of what? United States of Biafra. That is then that is going to bring him out from there. That is what we have to do. That is the way forward. I will play the voice without interrupt before we go into that different thing today. And we'll open our line after this. We're able to call.
The combined action of both wings stopping hands the arresting country, the legal justification, no IHL, and the political freedom, no threat, to impose the severest possible sentence. Yes, the simultaneous cessation of activities by both the political organization and its armed wing provides the maximum possible legal leverage to the arresting country to sentence the leader severely, such as to life imprisonment. This combined action is interpreted by the arresting country as the end of the armed threat and the collapse of the independence movement, which is the critical factor in stripping the leader of international legal protections. How the double cessation helps the arresting country. The decision for both the political and military wings to halt operations helps the arresting country secure a harsh sentence in two key ways. 1. Removing the Armed Conflict Shield, IHL. For the Geneva Conventions, IHL, to apply, there must be an ongoing non-international armed conflict, NIAC. Political wing stops. The lack of a functioning political structure, no declaration of statehood, no diplomatic outreach, allows the arresting country to classify the entire situation as a domestic law enforcement matter concerning a collapsed criminal or terrorist conspiracy, not a political conflict. Military wing stops. The immediate end of fighting confirms that the hostilities have ceased. This is the strongest evidence the arresting country needs to argue that the Geneva Conventions are no longer applicable. Without IHL protection, the leader is definitively denied prisoner of war, POW status. The outcome: the leader loses combatant immunity, meaning they can be fully prosecuted under domestic criminal laws for the acts of violence, treason, sedition, terrorism, committed while leading the organization, which carry the harshest penalties. 2. Eliminating all political and military leverage. No military threat. The stopping of the army wing retaliation, making the leader less of a liability and more of a guaranteed captive. No negotiation incentive. The halting of the political wing removes any immediate reason for the arresting country to negotiate a release or amnesty. Why trade the leader when their release is not required to end the conflict? The result: the leader is purely a political symbol of defeat. The arresting country is empowered to proceed with a show trial and maximum sentence, life imprisonment, as a domestic victory and a powerful deterrent against future dissent. In essence, the combined action of both wings stopping hands the arresting country, the legal justification, no IHL, and the political freedom, no threat, to impose the severest possible sentence.
I hope you heard it clearly, without me saying a word, how IPOB helped Nigeria to put Mazen Kano on where he is today. I hope you get it clearly. Why do we do this? For you to know. That is why. Now, listen to this again. Listen to this. This is still under this Geneva Convention. Listen.
This situation, where the leader is arrested and the organization stops and waits, is extremely detrimental to the leader's personal security and legal standing. It drastically amends the leader's security by reducing it, primarily because it forfeits the protection and leverage that ongoing conflict provides under international law. It means the leader's security is worse because 1. Loss of protection under the Geneva Conventions. The primary function of the Geneva Conventions is to protect people who are forced to combat, out of the fight, during an armed conflict. By stopping, the organization hands the detaining country a legal argument to deny the application of the conventions entirely. Denial of POW status. The movement's cessation of activities allows the detaining state to argue that the situation is no longer an armed conflict, either international or non-international. Without an armed conflict, the arrested leader cannot be considered a prisoner of war (POW) under the Third Geneva Convention. Consequence for security. A POW must be treated humanely, protected from violence and public curiosity, evacuated to a safe zone, and cannot be prosecuted solely for the act of fighting. By denying this status, the leader is stripped of these explicit protections, and is treated as a domestic criminal suspect facing charges like treason or terrorism, which carry harsher penalties and fewer safeguards during interrogation and detention. 2. Shift from wartime captive to political hostage. The nature of the leader's detention changes fundamentally. Eliminating leverage. In an active conflict, the leader is a crucial bargaining chip for prisoner exchanges or ceasefires. The detaining country has a military and political incentive to treat them reasonably to achieve its goals. By stopping, the organization removes this immediate military pressure. Indefinite detention. The leader's security now depends solely on the internal security interests of the detaining state. Since the movement is waiting, the leader becomes a political hostage held as a deterrent. The detaining state has no legal or immediate political incentive to release them, increasing the risk of prolonged, indefinite, and potentially harsh imprisonment, like solitary confinement or denial of medical treatment. 3. Increased risk of abuse and hard sentencing. Domestic law applies. The leader is now solely subject to the detaining country's domestic criminal justice system, which is likely hostile. The lack of IHL oversight means the detaining state can apply its most severe anti-terrorism or anti-sedition laws, leading to a life sentence, as discussed previously. Risk of coercion. The security of a leader often relates to the conditions of their detention. Without the fear of retaliation or the need to use the leader in an exchange, the detaining state may feel empowered to use methods of psychological pressure or coercion to extract information, make the leader denounce the movement, or break their will. In short, this amends the leader's security, means the leader's situation is now defined by maximal insecurity and minimal legal protection, because the group surrendered the leverage that the laws of war might otherwise have provided. The decision to wait made the leader a low priority, high-value asset for the detaining government's security goals.
I hope you listen with me. For those who help one Nigeria, I am doing because of Uche Chopukano, who is calling that boy in Finland. I want to know, is your activities in Finland, is you and your IPOB organization are the one that sentenced Mazen Khan to life imprisonment today? Do all of you go back? Someone who rose up to fight to free him, all of you turn against him overnight. Fighting Simon Ekpa. The same people are fighting our declaration today. And here, you had it here openly. That agitation, long agitation without a declaration of independence is what? A mere political party that lacks jurisdiction to serve their leader that was arrested. But a declaration of independence of a new country is a very big leverage for him to regain his freedom. Once the new country that was declared got an international recognition, then negotiation will start. Diplomatic will start. That's what we are doing today. That is why United States of Biafra is only hope for Mazen Khan. No political solution. Even though if they pardon and bring him out, you know that Mazen Khan will never stop until Biafra becomes a country. then I will now come to arrest him again. This is what you wish him. That is why you must support the declaration of the United States of Biafra. I am also going to prove to you how this our declaration and recognition is what will serve him forever and ever. We play it again for those that went amos.
This situation, where the leader is arrested and the organization stops and waits, is extremely detrimental to the leader's personal security and legal standing. It drastically amends the leader's security by reducing it, primarily because it forfeits the protection and leverage that ongoing conflict provides under international law.
I hope you are listening. This situation where the leader is arrested and the organization even stop the military to stop action, like what Ogenkere did in the case of Simon. So I want to see the level of enemies and what they have committed in this movement. Please, as you join us, please like and share the program. If it is your first time, subscribe on the YouTube page. The like, you will see a 3 dots in front of your phone on the right hand side of your phone. Please click on that 3 dots, it will open. You will see like and share. Because why is it important? When you like, people will know that we are live and they will come to listen. Even those IPOB members, I want them to come. For them to see the calamity they use the IPOB committed, this organization they registered. I want them to see what they use IPOB, what the IPOB did to Mazen and the Khan. That they are the one who helped Nigeria to put this sentence of life imprisonment to my president, Mazen and the Khan, that Biafra recognition in the global stage will set him free and become a free man and become president of what? United States of Biafra. You don't need any vote to call him the president, but declaration give him the leverage to change his to change his status automatically to become a leader or to become a president of a new country, no longer in agitation. Because agitation is just for common awareness. Are you following? Please, if you never like the program, please try and like the program. It's very important, please. We have more viewers than like. Our viewer deep inside the other side, I'm seeing it. We have crossed almost 5,000 viewers. We have only 31 like. It's unfair, my people. Please like the program. Even though that YouTube is kicking out, continuously liking the program, please. Sometimes you go back to check if your like still there. We must continue.
It means the leader's security is worse because
it means that the leader's security is worst because of what? Listen. Number 1.
1. Loss of protection under the Geneva Conventions.
Loss of protection under the Geneva Convention. This Geneva Convention is an international law that gives a right or protects a right of a leader who is fighting for a new country, who was arrested or kidnapped. If the IHL can only work when there is a declaration of a new country. Remember, under IPOB 1 Nigeria, there was nothing like what? Declaration of a new country. Please, you will see the link of this program, of this YouTube page. You may use that link to do what? To subscribe on this page, please. You can also use the link to come into the program if you want to do something. That is the link also. Thank you so much for being here. Now, how did the leader lose his case? Or how did he come to this issue of death sentence? How? Or sorry, issue of life sentence. How did he come there? Listen to this.
Primary function of the Geneva Conventions is to protect people who are horsed to combat.
Are you hear that? The primary function of the Geneva Convention is to protect people who are hosts and the combat out of the fights during an armed conflict. Mazen Kano, does he build ESN for armed conflict? Somehow, yes. To protect Biafra land. Because when the government come with the attack, they will resist them. It becomes armed conflict. I hope you are here with me. I hope you are here. Now, by stopping the organization, like what IPOB is, by stopping every organization, stopping the activities, accusing Simon Eba, accusing everybody who want to help to bring Maznakan out then. I hope you can see what they did. And the sacrilege they committed by a member of IPOB leaking or calling Maznakan to come out for a meeting, and he was kidnapped. They not committed a crime, they committed a crime. And what is the crime of Maznakan? Because they want to put an end to the killing that happening in Biafra land or all over Nigeria today. And them that they never won, because they want continuously making money and our people to be seeing them as if they are the one that is right. That is what it's all about. We must continue.
The fight during an armed conflict. By stopping, the organization hands the detaining country a legal argument to deny the application of the conventions entirely. Denial of POW status.
Are you hearing it? During an armed conflict, by stopping the organization hands the detained country a legal argument to deny the application of the conversation nearly. You do know what? That is why where Maznakan is, Nigeria put gadgets, so the lawyer Maznakan cannot be free to discuss with their lawyer, because they have already concluded on what to do with IPOB. They concluded they should West Maznakan, but Nigeria want to prove that they have power. That is why they kidnap him from Kenya down to their own Nigeria country. Do you understand it? That is exactly what happened. Nigeria is the only one they want to prove, oh, we don't kidnap him, oh, we get him arrested, we use Interpol. After Interpol come and said, no, I don't know about it. So it's why this is important that we must continue, because when we stop, we are making the world to get him or to do things that are not the way it's supposed to be done. They deny Maznakan many assets, even the access of writing his final address. Could you imagine such a thing? And it was how much was show me the law. Denial of POW. The status. Let us listen.
The movement's cessation of activities allows the detaining state to argue that the situation is no longer an armed conflict, either international or non-international. Without an armed conflict, the arrested leader cannot be considered a prisoner of war (POW) under the Third Geneva Convention. Consequence for security.
Listen, let's hold it here. Denying of POW status. The movement, causes of activities, allow the detained state to argue that the situation is no longer an armed conflict. Do you hear that? When they fight, why Nigeria in the first place fight to destroy ESM? It's because of this law. Because if ESM was who they are, they will come for attack. The attack is what they call what? The attack under self-determination is what they call what? They call it what? Armed conflict. Now, there is no armed conflict, and they now give Nigeria power to do what? To sentence Maznakan, because the pressure is no longer there. The pressure is what? Is no longer there. The link you are seeing is the link of this page. Once you click that link, it will take you to the page. Then you will subscribe, you will like, and also share the program. Please enable to do that. Please, if you just like the program, like I always said, there is a 3 dot in front of you. Click on that 3 dot. You will see what to do. And also, our line is open for phone call in case if any Biafrans want to call. Number to call still remain +97360513337 only on WhatsApp. +97360513337. That is number to call only on WhatsApp, if you may. Now let us continue. To argue that the situation is no longer an armed conflict, either international or non-international. Within our armed conflict, the arrested leader cannot be considered a prisoner of war (POW). under the Third Geneva Convention. Are you following? I hope you are following. You see, something, that's why I told that, you see this movement that we are into, we must follow all the existing protocol. Are you following? We must follow all the existing protocol. We must follow all the criteria. We must listen to the histories, because the future lies in the past. We must take those things and put them all together and make our own better way of getting it the way it's supposed to be. Are you following? So you can see right here what IPOB, how IPOB organization helped one Nigeria to sentence Mazi Kano on life imprisonment. I hope you can see it. Please like and share the program. I wonder the kind of like we have today. But more numbers are watching, but the viewers are, the likes are very small. That's why the network is kicking away. Please try and like and share the program, if you may. So, without an armed conflict, the arrested leader cannot be considered a prisoner of war, POW, under the Third Convention. So, when there is no armed conflict, when there is no pressure, when there is no diplomatic, when there is no legal act, so everything about leader becomes that those that are kidnapping him are the one that has power to decide on what to do. Under this law. Consequence of the security. A power must be treated inhuman, protect from the violence and the public custodial evil entity called Nigeria. Let's continue.
APOW must be treated humanely, protected from violence and public curiosity, evacuated to a safe zone, and cannot be prosecuted solely for the act of fighting. By denying this status, the leader is stripped of these explicit protections, and is treated as a domestic criminal suspect facing charges like treason or terrorism, which carry harsher penalties and fewer safeguards during interrogation and detention. 2. Shift from wartime captive to political...
Hold on, you run fast. I hope we are following gradually. For Mazi Kano, what IPOB, how they helped Nigeria to sentence him by withdrawing every activities, closing all the liaison offices that was being built. Now is the time for them to come, because they have seen how they can be able to make people, and they come to claim the IPOB. IPOB is the product of Mazi Kano, because if their member did not kidnap, if their member did not call him to come address meeting in Kenya from his location, nobody will know anything till today. So when you are seeing that what they did is what moved to the action of Nigeria today, then you will know how evil anybody claim that he's a member of IPOB organization is. Is it clear to you that these people are what? Evil. Is it clear to you? Are you still doubting the Biafra government? The Biafra government is the only legitimate government that will send Mazi Kano free and Simon Ekpa. Go and verify. Go and check. Now, let's continue. And they cannot be prosecuted slowly for the action of fighting by denying the status. The leader is separated of this split of protection and is treated as a domestic criminal, suspect facing charges like treason or terrorism, which can be handled patiently and a few during interrogation and the detention. Are you following? I hope you are following. Easy way, you're welcome, my brother. So you see all that IPOB of one Nigeria has cost Mazi Kano by them stopping what they're supposed to do and be doing another different thing altogether. So let us be more patient to understand why Nigeria decided to do what they did, because IPOB has already given them power to go on and do whatever they want. Because highest 3 months, people will forget about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and they will start going out. That was his word. My people, let us continue.
Hostage. The nature of the leader's detention changes fundamentally, eliminating leverage. In an active conflict, the leader is a crucial bargaining chip for prisoner exchanges or ceasefires. The detaining country has a military and political incentive to treat them reasonably to achieve its goals. By stopping, the organization removes this immediate military pressure. Indefinite detention. The leader's security now depends solely on the internal security interests of the detaining state. Since the movement is waiting, the leader becomes a political hostage held as a deterrent. The detaining state has no legal or immediate political incentive to release them, increasing the risk of prolonged, indefinite, and potentially harsh imprisonment, like solitary confinement or denial of medical treatment. 3.
No, let's only see on this number 2. You see, for how many hours you are the number 1. And I hope you can see why it seems that IPOB helped what? Nigeria to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on life imprisonment today. That is why we are doing this program. This is part 2 of it. After today, we are going to give you how declaration of a new country that are seeking recognition will help to secure the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Don't mind Sokoko them. Don't mind them, because they don't know the road to the freedom of having a new country. They don't know about it. It's not about making mouth. Immediate leverage. In the active conduct, the leader is crucially. The leader is. Hey, network, man. Okay, we're back. The leader is a crucially bragganership for the prison exchange of cash fires. The detained country has the military and political intensive to test them, the reasonable, to achieve its goals. By stopping, the organization removes this immediate military pressure. When they stop, they give Nigeria, when they ask ESN to stop working, Nigeria military was coming to kill the ESN members. They are not protecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So when you see that all this has happened, that is why they deny Mazi Nnamdi Kanu everything, both medical care, because of this, my people. So the reason of the Nigeria to achieve their goal is to do what? To sentence and silence the voices leader who is fighting for a just cause and a new country. We must continue. A military and political incapacitive to threat them, responsible to achieve its goals by supporting. The organization removes this immediate military pressure. They cannot do that because Nigeria is a very corrupt country. We must continue.
Risk of abuse and hard sentencing. Domestic law applies. The leader is now solely subject to the detaining country's domestic criminal justice system, which is likely hostile. The lack of IHL oversight means the detaining state can apply its most severe anti-terrorism or anti-sedition laws, leading to a life sentence, as discussed previously. Risk of coercion. The security of a leader often relates to the conditions of their detention. Without the fear of retaliation or the need to use the leader in an exchange, the detaining state may feel empowered to use methods of psychological pressure or coercion to extract information, make the leader denounce the movement, or break their will. In short, this...
I hope you hear something. Every pressure that is coming from Nigeria hand with the agreement of IPOB is what? To Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to stop talking anything about Biafra. And I ask you, can he stop? If you read from the spirit of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if anyone will give him any offer in this world, can that offer make him to stop the movement? Biafra will become a country? The answer is no. And that is why our DPM told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that's it that we are asking for. We have got it. What is that? We have made a declaration of that Biafra becomes a sovereign state on our own. We have accepted our country. before we have also recognized ourselves before another person. This is only solution to him. So I hope you are listening. I hope you are listening. Identify detention. The leader security new defense on the internal security interests of the detained state, since the movement is wasting the leader because of a potential hostage held as a department, held as a distressed. The detained state, the detained state has no longer or immediate political immediately of political movement to release the leader, or the necessary of him to be released under the risk of the new country for not allowing any foreign organizations to come in, because the IPOB are no longer functioning. If they are functioning, Nigeria could not stop Bruce Fem that when he was arrived, because of they know their plan. That is why they criticize Bruce Fem, who could have helped them as international global person to do what? To get Biafra recognition. Why? Because of what? They have all collected money. That is why they stop every movement, so Nigeria can please themselves. When it's come to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president of United States of Biafra. These are facts and figures, and this is what happened to us. I want to also understand that in all these things, there is a risk. The reason is that they will treated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in a harsh way. Today, the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being treated in a harsh way? If you ask. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Nigerian government treated him in a calm way. They do not treat him in a calm way because of what? Because of all these things that comes from ESN, that come from Tina Saworo, that stop every movement that will restore Biafra. And because of, they never know the road. It's not about going to saloon and gossip. There is a criteria. There is a way. That is why Bato, beyond 5 years, could channel us into that way very fast. Chai. Hello, Mekwa. IPOB. She's from a listen.
Amends the leader's security means the leader's situation is now defined by maximal insecurity and minimal legal protection, because the group surrendered the leverage that the laws of war might otherwise have provided. The decision to wait made the leader a low priority, high value asset for the detaining government's security goals.
Do you listen very, very carefully? For high value, the work must continue. For high value for Simon Bad to be in Finland, the government must continue what they are doing to make sure that everything is intact. To do what? To make sure that everything, that they do not do like IPOB One Nigeria, who decided to do what? Destroy Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, give him to Nigeria for life prison till today. Why are these people who did all these things? Because of what? Longer throats. They want money. That is all that leads to what you see them participated on it, because they never want freedom. They want to build mansion and they continue from where they stop. That is why today those who want the freedom has come and also be giving their support into what we are doing. My people. Increasing risk of abuse and the hard sentence. Domestic law applies. The leader is now slowly subject to the detained country's domestic crime justice of system, which is likely, honestly, the lack of the IHL's oversighted means the detained state can apply its most several terrorism or anti-sedition law, leading to life sentence and discuss previously many more penalty. When you see IPOB organization today, put it to them, tell them, why did all of you help Nigeria to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa? After that, what happened? Uchechi, that boy in Finland, was the one who saved your life until he got problem that you and so-called heirs of Nwego put him into. But the time has come for the Biafran people to take every risk to make sure that we get what? Recognition. Only the recognition is what we say for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Only recognition of Biafra as a country. That is why you must give your all to the government. Once you are supporting the government of the University of Biafra, you are supporting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be free. You hate the injustice. You hate the way he was being treated. But when you remain silent, that means you are okay with that. So, my people, everything that we are doing, Biafran government must do it to make sure that Obatobi and Simon Ekpa is being what? Free today. Listen to this again as I play.
This situation, where the leader is arrested and the organization stops and waits, is extremely detrimental to the leader's personal security and legal standing. It drastically amends the leader's security by reducing it, primarily because it forfeits the protection and leverage that ongoing conflict provides under international law. It means the leader's security is worse because 1. Loss of protection under the Geneva Conventions. The primary function of the Geneva Conventions is to protect people who are forced to combat, out of the fight, during an armed conflict. By stopping, the organization hands the detaining country a legal argument to deny the application of the conventions entirely. Denial of POW status. The movement's cessation of activities allows the detaining state to argue that the situation is no longer an armed conflict, either international or non-international. Without an armed conflict, the arrested leader cannot be considered a prisoner of war (POW) under the Third Geneva Convention. Consequence for security. A POW must be treated humanely, protected from violence and public curiosity, evacuated to a safe zone, and cannot be prosecuted solely for the act of fighting. By denying this status, the leader is stripped of these explicit protections and is treated as a domestic criminal suspect facing charges like treason or terrorism, which carry harsher penalties and fewer safeguards during interrogation and detention. 2. Shift from wartime captive to political hostage. The nature of the leader's detention changes fundamentally. Eliminating leverage. In an active conflict, the leader is a crucial bargaining chip for prisoner exchanges or ceasefires. The detaining country has a military and political incentive to treat them reasonably to achieve its goals. By stopping, the organization removes this immediate military pressure. Indefinite detention. The leader's security now depends solely on the internal security interests of the detaining state. Since the movement is waiting, the leader becomes a political hostage held as a deterrent. The detaining state has no legal or immediate political incentive to release them, increasing the risk of prolonged, indefinite, and potentially harsh imprisonment, like solitary confinement or denial of medical treatment. 3. Increased risk of abuse and hard sentencing. Domestic law applies. The leader is now solely subject to the detaining country's domestic criminal justice system, which is likely hostile. The lack of IHL oversight means the detaining state can apply its most severe anti-terrorism or anti-sedition laws, leading to a life sentence, as discussed previously. Risk of coercion. The security of a leader often relates to the conditions of their detention. Without the fear of retaliation or the need to use the leader in an exchange, the detaining state may feel empowered to use methods of psychological pressure or coercion to extract information, make the leader denounce the movement, or break their will. In short, this amends the leader's security, means the leader's situation is now defined by maximal insecurity and minimal legal protection, because the group surrendered the leverage that the laws of war might otherwise have provided. The decision to wait made the leader a low-priority, high-value asset for the detaining government's security goals.
I hope you followed along the line. This is how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go to where he is today. And since all this why, nobody's mind to go to check. We never went to check why all these things was in place of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, why all these laws are not for him, why ICCPR is not for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, why IHL is not for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, why UDHR is not from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. All these things are laws that could have been implemented if the so-called DOS members, the Ipob organization, if they have stood on their grounds, if they ever want freedom. Because for me, IPOB is not fighting for Biafra. They are only fighting to make money on social media. Like the wall of them today, Nigeria has given them what they want, and you will see them all disappeared. And this is those that will touch Sheshi Kanu, claiming the extra of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They are all in this together that put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu where he is today. IPOB, thank you for suggesting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. IPOB organization, thank you for all your shenanigans, all your evil work. But the revival is the case because Biafra has been declared. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be so treated once the revolution appears as the way Maghandi was treated, the way Nelson Mandela, the way Rahman, the way Joma Kenyatta was being treated. These are the prisoners of war, prisoners of conscience, prisoners of POW, how they've been treated. Now, we are going to give you part one of how our declaration of independence and recognition of Biafra is going to set Mazi Nnamdi Kanu free and Simon Ekpa, if worst come to the worst. Let us dive into that, my people. Let us go into that. Please, we must understand this aspect of, and that is why I always say this, so that our DP must be honored and worshipped every blessed day. You see, she must be worshipped because that woman did a lot, taking risk against all to stand up like a lion, like a king, and make what? Real declaration of United States of Biafra. That's leading towards recognition that we set Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa free from all their captivities, and they will be free in the hands of the enemies that are holding them. Pray for only what? Recognition of Biafra. That is main prayer. That is main goal. Our one revolution from the international global community, we have dissolved and everything will be free. That's why it's very important that we all adhere to that instruction. Pray for recognition of United States of Biafra that was re-declared on November 20, 2024, that celebrates their first independence on November 29, 2025. That is only hope for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be alive, like every other leader who fought for what? Who fought for his people to be free. All these Geneva Convention have given us the right that we need to do more. We need to do more. And when it comes to the movement of Biafra right now, the Biafra population follows who? United States of Biafra government, council, or leadership is what all the Biafrans are following. And when it comes to this movement that is a political, it's only population of where population goes is where the world stand for. It's only where the population is where the world stand for. It's only where the population goes is where the world stand for. Majority wins what? The vote in the eyes of the international global community. So they know that United States of Biafra are the one that hosts population. That is why someone like Eggman will tell you that is foolish majority that are following Ngozi Orazabeze. Oh, you know that it's a majority. Then why are you challenging? The same is to Sonia Bakrawa and Oge Nkerie and Rando to First Unite. They all know the truth. But because of the money, the bribe that are being collected is what is pushing them. It will push them until all of them enter into their grave. And the young people will move on. So our recognition is the main key. That is the solution. That is the next step. Pray for Biafra. Pray for United States of Biafra to God's recognition. You will see how everything ends. Now, let me give you this again to come into your mind. For all these Okokos to them. You had it here. Now, why Nigerian government has more power on national account? Because of IPOB organization did not make any declaration of a new country, of a statehood, to change national account status to that he is the president of the new country, despite that he's in that of Nigeria. They never make any declaration. And now, between those who make declaration and those who don't make a declaration, who are the one fighting for their life to be saved? Listen to this.
This is a classic dilemma in independence movements, and the answer is that the group that makes the declaration, Group 1, is far more likely to achieve both the leader's release and international recognition. Here is a breakdown of why this aggressive strategy is usually the most effective, transforming the leader's imprisonment into a critical asset. The strategy of Group 1, declare independence now. This group chooses to establish a functioning state immediately, using the imprisoned leader as a powerful political symbol. 1. Best for international recognition. The primary criteria for international recognition, Montevideo Convention, is effective government. Creates a legal entity. By declaring independence, Group 1 establishes a new legal entity, a state, that can apply for UN membership and formally enter into relations with other states. The international community must now decide whether to recognize this new state. Demonstrates effective control. An established functioning government, courts, treasury, foreign ministry, is harder to ignore than a movement simply waiting for a prisoner to be released. This demonstrates the capacity for statehood, forces the issue. The declaration forces the international community to move beyond moral support and take a definitive political stance, accelerating the diplomatic process. 2. Best for the leader's release. This strategy turns the imprisoned leader into an international bargaining chip, focuses world attention. The leader is instantly transformed into the symbolic head of state, or president-elect, of a recognized or soon-to-be-recognized nation. This massively increases the political cost of their imprisonment, creates a precondition. Foreign governments and international organizations, like the UN, IMF, World Bank, can now make the imprisoned leader's release a formal precondition for granting recognition, providing aid, or signing treaties with the former ruling power. Historical parallel, Mandela. As discussed, the release of leaders like Nelson Mandela was largely secured because the international isolation and sanctions against the ruling power became politically and economically unbearable. Declaring the state now makes the former power's continued control over the leader an act of aggression against a potential sovereign state. The strategy of Group 2, fall back and wait. This group chooses caution, delaying the declaration until the leader is free. 1. Worst for international recognition. No legal entity. The group remains an independence movement or a political party, not a state. They cannot apply for UN membership or sign binding treaties. They lack the key criteria of an effective government over a defined territory. Easier to ignore. The international community can classify the situation as an internal political dispute within the former ruling state. They have no sovereign entity to recognize, reducing the external pressure. 2. Worse for the leader's release. Lower stakes. The leader remains a political prisoner rather than a symbolic head of state. The former ruling power faces less severe international pressure because the movement has not committed the decisive act of declaring statehood, perpetuating the status quo. The waiting strategy allows the former ruling power to maintain control and prolong the leader's life sentence without facing the ultimate consequence, the loss of the territory and the new state's recognition. The conclusion. The Declaration Now strategy, Group 1, is the one that accelerates both goals because it transforms the political status of the leader from a domestic criminal matter into an issue of international sovereignty and state recognition. The former ruling power is presented with a clear choice: release the internationally recognized figurehead and gain a measure of diplomatic stability, or hold on to him and face total global isolation from the new state.
I hope you're listening. I will play it again for those doubting Thomas. Why are we doing this? How IPOB help one Nigeria to sentence Mazen and the Kano, and how the declaration of the United States of Biafra is going to bring him out, like what happened to case of Nelson Mandela. That is why I'm playing this, So all of us can see. And you can ask yourself, if you are not been supporting United States of Biafra Declaration, for you to know you are among those that sentenced Mazen to life imprisonment. Only you turn back to support United States of Biafra that will free everybody out is what is the most important and what's needed at the time we are into. If you claim you love Mazen Khan, you value Mazen Khan, you'll be asking me what to do, what next step. See the next step here on what to do. How can you support on this? How can you make it happen? By you giving your fund to the United States of Biafra government for them to get international recognition, get everything done. That is all we needed. So it is very important that we understand the game we are into and how to play the game and what the time is all about.
This is a classic dilemma in independence movements, and the answer is that the group that makes the declaration, Group 1, is far more likely to achieve both the leader's release and international recognition. Here,
because of the declaration, this is a classical dilemma in independency movement, and the answer is that the group that makes a declaration, Group 1, is far more likely to achieve both the leader release and international recognition. Who made the declaration? United States of Biafra declaration was being made by who? By those who believe in Biafra under Dr. Ngozi Arabweze. This is exactly what happened. And this is what you had it here, that this is what is going to free Mazen Khan. This is pure diplomatic negotiation and political movement. Declaration of a new country serves a leader who is fighting for a new country that was arrested before the declaration. The declaration gives him a leverage of status that he becomes a president of a new country under the international laws.
Here's a breakdown of why this aggressive strategy is usually the most effective, transforming the leader's imprisonment into a critical asset. The strategy of Group 1, declare independence now. This group chooses to establish a functioning state immediately, using the imprisoned leader as a powerful political symbol. 1.
Are you following? The strategy of Group 1, declaration of independence for a new country, after the leader was kidnapped or was arrested. What are those things what are those criteria that are going to bring him out? Declaration. This group choosing to establish a functioning state immediately, not like IPOB, stop, be underground until he come outside, fall back, because Simon never come outside. We go 247, even for Simon, no Biafra, all are full. The group chooses to establish by declaration of a new country, functioning state, immediately that the leader was arrested. If the house was won, immediately our leader was arrested, Mazen Khan. Next thing is to do declaration. But do they know how to plan it? The answer is no. Do they know what to do? Where to go? What to register? The answer is no. Do they know how to get that place? The answer is no. Now that somebody who has the mandate or who knows the road and who knows how to get it is there doing it, they come against him. They cannot start protesting. Look at his last word, that boy, Simon. Under this sentence, you claim you are intellectual, but you cannot find a solution to your husband. So suppose claim husband. You can't find solution to your husband, and you claim your wife. Your husband is sick. You can't even find solution. If you know this, you could have known what to do, because this is a solution to Mazen Khan since these 5 years that he was in this dungeon. The group chooses establishing functioning states immediately, using the imprisoned leader as a powerful political symbol. Obona, we refuse to do this, then the life sentence of Mazen Kanu will remain forever and ever. Remember, they refer him to somebody here, Nelson Mandela, who fought apartheid regime. Because there is an existing protocol, there is an existing criteria, there is things that to be done. And they don't know how to do it. When you don't know, you claim you know. You are envy, you are jealousness, you are hatred. Let me tell you one thing. Karma is real. All that their hands in what happened to Mazen Kanu, it will surely go back to them one day. Because karma is real. All that their hand, what happened to Simon Ekpa, karma is real. They will also reap what they sow one day. The time is coming. The time is what? Coming. Let's continue. The best option of Mazen Kanu right now and Simon Ekpa, listen.
Best for international recognition. The primary criteria for international recognition, Montevideo Convention, is effective government. Creates a legal entity. By declaring independence, Group 1 establishes a new legal entity, a state, that can apply for UN membership and formally enter into relations with other states. The international community must now decide whether to recognize this new state. Demonstrates effective...
Listen. Best of international recognition. The primary criteria for the international recognition is Montevideo Convention is effective government. Criteria, legal entity. By declaration of a new country independence, the group that made this establishment is now legal entity that will seek for their leaders' release. For what? For their leaders' release. They said this is best recognition, best for international recognition. Declaration is the best way to get to the international recognition that Mexico and Megojuku lose the war in 1967 to 1970. If you are searching and reading, you understand it. By declaration, by declaring a new independent country, Group 1 establishing new legal entity, a state that can apply for UN membership and they formally enter into relations with other states. The international community must now decide whether to recognize the new state. You saw the program from the UN, from the NATO chairman from Austria, telling you that Biafra now, we are like a country like Kosovo. That is who we are. The same word. We are like a country like Kosovo is a country. That is where our criteria for right now. It's left of the world. So for you who is asking way forward, next to the Mazen Kanu is detention and we are celebrating a fool. Do you know the meaning of celebration? What we did is to seek attention of the international global community to know that a country has been formed last year, that the country has gone into 1 year. To know that the country is no longer a baby country anymore. Once a baby is celebrated 1 year, it starts moving up. That is why you see the declaration. That is why the declaration is important. That is why the celebration is out of a political notification to the world to know that a new country has been, that was declared, has got what? 1 year celebration, proving that there is an effective what? Government. This is how the law put it to you. That is why I told you, it's no longer my thing. It's no longer for me to think. It's no longer for me to come and analyze what I don't know. No. It's a time to let the world know that we understand the game and look at where we are. Look at what it's supposed to do for us. That is why we are bringing all this also, for me to also enlighten myself a little bit, despite whatever. They can apply for the UN membership and formally enter into relations with other states. Which one? The declared country independence. If Ogege is moving around today, the question is, who make a declaration? How many times did Ogege come to pulpit? Is the question. How many times do they come to pulpits to open their mouth to make a declaration with all the video evidence in the world? It is when understand that Biafra was declared by Dr. Ngozi Orabeze on November 29, 2024. Stop your Baba Dash. Stop the nonsense. Stop deceiving Biafrans. Stop AI voice. It's not rain. We all know. We all understand it clearly. The one that make a declaration today, United States of Biafra has proved to the world that there is effective government that the world are looking for. You must make a declaration of a country before other countries will recognize you. A country recognize a country. You sign a treaty with those that are country like you. This is how it goes. No other way around. Please like and share the program. If you are watching, please. If you are first time, the link is there for you to subscribe on the page. That is the link that we pin down here. Then if the first time, you can see a 3 dot in front of you. Click on that 3 dot. Then you will see like and you will see share. Do that for us, for this program to go viral, because we are now starting bringing solution. We are now starting people to know the next option for Mazen Kano and those that is in their hand. Those are doing that. Those are fighting for his life. If you are the one, oh my God, you must continue. I want to repeat here again for formality purpose. That is why I want to repeat here. For those that enter us, for CRC, aka AI voice, for Faces Unite, for Ogen Kelly. Listen here again, so you can be very careful. Creating a legal entity by declaring an independence for a new country. Group 1, establishing a what? New legal entity. A state is being declared. A state, creating a state with effective government that can apply for the UN. It's only when you're a state that you can apply for the membership of the UN. You are not going to wait for recognition before you will apply for it. If you apply, there wasn't you time, you move on with your life. So we must continue to stand on the side of the United States of Biafra. Dr. Ngozi Orabeze, our DPM, Dr. Ngozi Orabeze, Oshina Watan Kembo, Abaraki Ibia. Must continue. The international community must now, after our celebration of 1 year, and now that our leader, all of them are condemning the injustice meted on Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Now that Nigeria has designated to the country of particular concern, so every other country who knows the truth must embrace United States of Biafra as a solution to all that is going on in that contraction called One Nigeria today. Are you following? I want us to deeply understand the game. I want you to really know the way forward, the solution. Hey, people are here celebrating. You don't represent the can out. You don't know there is a criteria, there is a existing protocol we have to follow. All the international global community. What is holding you? Now? Go there and shoot. Or the comment here. You will not support the government. You will be writing a harsh comment. Best option for Mazi Kanu, international recognition is the best option. The primary criteria for the international recognition, Montevideo Convention, is effective government. That is why the government organized 1 year celebration of re-declared of the United States of Biafra. That is why. That is why we are calling on the world, America. Putting Nigeria on a particular consign is good, but that is not the everlasting solution. US, Donald Trump, putting Nigeria on a country of particular consign, it is very good, but it's not the everlasting solution, because the killing has been there for over how many years today? Over 2 decades. People are dying. So it is very imperative that you understand the game. You can be able to defend yourself anywhere the enemy is jamming on the road. Now, demonstrating effective control after declaration of a new country that will save the leaders who was kidnapped or was arrested before the declaration of independence of a new country. What happened? That's recognition is the next thing. And why we are calling Donald Trump to tell him that putting Nigeria on a country of particular consign is good, but that is not the solution, because the clean has been there. Why? Non-indigenous person are the one covering and protecting the border. So they are bringing their brothers also to accomplish the movement of the 1904 of the Usman Dan Fodio. I hope you are here with me. Because when people are talking without solution, and that's why I said the way we see it is not the way it is. We must see it the way they want us to see it, because that is the way we are going to get what we want. They are the one, UN members, they are watching. They are looking. Sometimes when I look at what Ipob did to Mazi Kanu, I cried. And what Imam Maduabo and the Ogenkere did to our PM, I say, wow. But we are on the winning side, and we must win. We are what? On the winning side, and we must what? Win. As we are winning. We are winning. By what? Our official declaration of independence of United States of Biafra that are now seeking for international recognition that Biafra is a sovereign state, has regained fully, that Nigeria should leave them for us to be in our own life. We must continue.
Of control, an established functioning government, courts, treasury, foreign ministry, is harder to ignore than a movement simply waiting for a prisoner to be released. This demonstrates the capacity for statehood, forces the issue. The declaration forces the international community to move beyond moral support and take a definitive political stance, accelerating the diplomatic process.
Are you hearing it? All this now is under the declaration of a new country from Geneva Convention. All these are under what? After declaration of a new country. The next criteria, that's why I said there is an existing template that after declaration you have to go and carry it and work for your new country to be organized. Demonstrating effective control and establishment, functioning government, courts, treasures, foreign ministers is headed to is headed to the ignore than a movement simply waiting for a person to be released. They demonstrated the capacity for the stakehold. Now, that United States of Biafra that made a declaration that are not waiting for Mazi Kanu or Mazi Simon Eba, that they prove that they have demonstrated the capacity of the stakehold. That our government of United States of Biafra standing and make a declaration. Not only that, they are proving the right on this 1 year of the stakehold that Biafra has been re-declared on November 2024. Despite lacking of recognition, they stand firm and making one or two things. They said here that what happened, that this is the person that did everything well. Who are they talking about? They are talking our DP, not Ngozi Arabeze, and all the cabinet members of the United States of Biafra. Airborne to all of you, Jidenu Kunuji. Jidenu Kunuji Ndioma, to save our life and save Mazda Khan. So we must continue. Demonstrating effective control and established functioning government, court, treasure, foreign minister is handed to ignore that a movement simply waiting for a person to be released. United States of Biafra, do they wait for Mazi Nnamdi to be released? Do they wait for Mazi to be released before they move on? The answer is no. We continue moving on because the Biafra is not just for one person, but it is for everybody. For those, Simon never told you do Biafra for me, they are all enemies of freedom. They are what? Or they never make money they want. They thought that they can be able to be exposed like Tina with them, so the government can give them money. So, what are you still waiting? Why are you not supporting this effective government? Why are you commenting garbage in my comment section? A way forward. The way forward is to put for what? For international recognition. Now that the law of the UN, of the Geneva Convention has proved that there is an effective government that can sign treaties, the capacity to maintain a stakehold with peace and unity that USB are representing. This is what USB is representing to the entire global community today. Remember, like I told you, we're about to summarize the program today. The number to call still remain +973360513337. That is the number to call only on WhatsApp. If you may, the number to call is +9733360513337. That is the number to do what? To call on this program. If you may. So let's continue. If we wait for a call, the next 10-15 minutes, if there is no call, we are going to shut the program down. We have spent maximum 3 hours. And tomorrow is work. Forcing the issue. Now it is a time for us to force our way to UN, to many countries in the world. Are we going to force our way with empty hand? That is why UAJ and the GEMA is important. Because Nigeria Abaka Chifana Talo. Are you listening? Now is the time to force our way into the international global community, putting papers everywhere, talking social media, tagging them, calling them to come to endorse Biafra. Asking Israel, why are you keeping silent? So Israel, you don't know who is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you don't know who is Simon Ekpa. Is what you are telling us. The president of the prime minister of Israel, Netanyahu. What is stopping you from recognizing Biafra to stop all this ongoing genocide that is happening in Nigeria today? Or you don't know that they are killing your fellow Christians? That also advocating for Nigeria to be divided, to stop that entity called Nigeria that means a death sentence to every indigenous people is one of the most important things that we have to do. Is it the person that can die in the prison that you will remember that Biafra people have suffered so much? So, my people, we must continue. The declaration forces the international community to move beyond moral support and take a decisive political sentence, calculating the diplomatic process. It's a time for them to accept our way. It's a time for the international global community. It's a time that now we are calling on them to come to organize us to stop the impunity that is going on in Nigeria, to bring out Mazen and the Kano, to bring out Simon Ebanjoko, that nobody will ever again arrest them after pardoning. It is very important that we also do that. So, forcing our way, now that the world has proved, we have proved to the world how effective we are. They said in the criteria of a Montevideo Convention, effective government, that the government must be organizing things, and we have just finished our. We still even in our Independence Day, but the government did very good big job to the Biafran people by standing up on that day to declare also to prove to the world why we declare Biafra. That is only the thing that will stop all that the indigenous people and Christians are going through today in Nigeria. Recognition. How recognition help to destroy this evil, to destroy this evil that remained on us called one Nigeria. Disintegration is the only solution. Recognizing Biafra is the only solution. Because we all must continue to stand on the template of international global community in this our awareness. Because we must continue. It's a time to start dragging the name one after the other. It's the time to start tagging their flag in all our programs. So they will know, and we continue hitting on it for them to know that Biafra has become what? A country. That have met all the criteria of the international global community. That nobody will stop us. Whether you did or you did not, we can match ourselves like Kosovo. There's many countries in the world that you are not recognized. Taiwan is a country, that's China. But we can never go back to Nigeria again. We never go back to Nigeria. Nigeria is a death sentence to every indigenous person. Because of the legacy of this man that Fojo, 1904. That is where the problem began. Because from there, they said that Nigeria, that Allah give them Nigeria. That Allah give them this territory until Britain now come and call it Nigeria. Go and tell that history very well, then you may understand the area I'm coming from. Number 2, best way for the leader release. Best way for the leader to be what? Released. Listen.
2. Best for the leader's release. This strategy turns the imprisoned leader into an international bargaining chip.
This was strategy of declaration seeking for international recognition turned the imprisoned leader into an international partnership. That is, the world will now start discussing about Mazen and the Kano, like the way they're discussing right now. Because of what? Because of the declaration of a new country. And that is the best way for him to be released. Because to become a president of another country called United States of Biafra, that was redeclared on November 29, 2024. That was celebrated their 1 year anniversary yesterday, being 29th of November 2025. Under what? Under effective government that are in charge of the affairs of the Biafra people. These are why we must know the criteria for a new country to emerge, to build a new country, to stand up. There is areas you must touch. There are things that it has to do. It's not in our own way, but the way they want us to do it. So for them to be also, we will ask them, we have done what you asked us to do. What is stopping you to give us recognition? What is stopping you from giving us recognition now that we have done all you want us to do? That is why you must clap and thank Dr. Ngozi Arabeze and the cabinet members. They are doing a very marvelous, wonderful job that the international global community are talking about. That is why for my chest, I will beat my chest, yes, Our recognition is on the way. Our recognition is on the way very, very soon, as you may think. And that is how everything ended. We must continue.
Focuses world attention. The leader is instantly
What?
transformed.
Focus world attention after declaration. Declaration of an independence of a new country is one of the most ever best way for having a new country in the entire region. We must continue to what we are doing.
Into the symbolic head of state or president-elect of a recognized or soon-to-be recognized nation. This massively increases the political cost of their imprisonment, creates a precondition. Foreign governments and international organizations like the
Just hold it here. The leader is an internally transformed into a symbolic head of state or president, whether elected or not. The declaration of Biafra has automatically made Mazi Nnamdi Kanu the president of United States of Biafra. That is how it goes. Of a recognized or soon to be recognized. I hope you are hearing it, our situation. This is merely pure our situation right now. That we have never been recognized, number one. And because of the things that we are doing right now, that now we are seeking for what? For recognition of what? United States of what? Biafra. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu automatically that changed his leverage status, that he has become the leader, he has become the president of what? A newly declared country that are seeking for international recognition. That is what it is. So nobody can change this. And on this is our way to force this national community, calling, tagging on them every day, shouting on our voices about America, about Canada, about Sweden, about China, about Australia, about Israel, and all these countries that are keeping silent today. That we're telling them that we have made it openly, that Biafra has become a sovereign state. Give us recognition. That is all that we are lacking. Are you following? It's very important. It is very, very what? Important to know. And without being a country, without being what? A country, you will never be a member of the UN. Without being an existing country, you will never be a member of what? UN or UN, IMF, World Bank. All these are organizations, but you must become a country before all these countries that we accept you to rub body with them. Child, we have the shortest way after our declaration of United States of Biafra, only for us, all of us, to push for us to get what? International recognition that we save the life of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They say that this is best option for the leader to release. Best for the leaders released, seeking for an international recognition. My people, like I said, our line is open for phone call. If you want to call, you are free to call us. And once you call us, we are going to pick your call as you join us. Please endeavor to do that. It is very, very imperative that you understand what we are doing. What are we doing? We are only fighting for Biafra, to restore our newly declared country, United States of Biafra, in the eyes of the international community, so we can be able to free our leaders, our people that are languishing in the different cells in Nigeria. How can you help? By supporting United States of Biafra financially and otherwise. It is very imperative if you can do so, because Biafra is the only hope of every black man in this world. Tomorrow, we may continue from where we stop. We may continue from where we stop.
Good morning, gentlemen. One of these problems we are having in the armed forces today is because we give the enemies chance to outsmart us. The 48 laws of power, number 22, page 163, says, use the surrender tactics to transform weakness into power. Now, you send our soldiers to battlefield, and along the line of the battle, the soldiers overpowered the bandits on the Boko Haram. Because they have been overpowered, they now applied the 48 laws of power by surrendering. Now, the soldiers now applied the military rules of engagement and decided not to fire them because they have surrendered. At this stage, they got them arrested in order to investigate them and get more of their secrets. Now, instead of focusing on getting their secrets, the government now retained them and said they are repented Boko Haram. You enroll them into the army, you are paying them salary and train them, giving them more secrets of the soldiers. And by the time they got the power, they will reinforce more and come back for you because of what? They already know you.
This is exactly what is happening to those who believe in one Nigeria. That is why we are calling on America, we're calling on every country in the world to do what? To recognize Biafra. So we, as the indigenous people, we protect our border. People in the north will use themselves and protect their border. These infiltrators, this Boko Haram, this ISWAP, and all these that are today inside Nigeria military are no longer going to be there, because once you rehabilitate them, put them into, from where do you capture them? You capture them where they are killing people. And who are they killing? They are killing indigenous people. When you put them in, they will continue from where they stop. Then they will be giving their own people information. That is why putting Nigeria on a country of particular concern is good. But the situation of Nigeria is the most number one thing that will happen, that everybody will be free. How will protect my border? Oh, do the one man will protect his border? They never know. That is the problem. Because from the 1904, they said that they want to control the border of the area. So from controlling the border, so they can be able to bring more of their own people. That is why we are facing all these problems today. So I am calling on you. The solution is what? To support. But what happens to Maznandi Kano? Kidnapping him is in the head of IPOB organization and all their members. These are the most important areas that you need to know as a Biafran, because honestly, we never believe what we are seeing. But now that we are on this, we must continue to do everything that humanly possible to make sure that Biafra becomes what? A sovereign state that got recognition through international global community. We must present ourselves in a manner that they will understand that what we are doing is our right, and we value the right of having this a new country. So from here, I thank you for today. I thank you all. May Elohim continue to bless and protect all of us as we move into our international recognition that we serve every indigenous person. So, Biafrans, we must stand strong, airborne, under United States of Biafra, that are the best option for every Biafran in the world. Thank you so much. We move.